Earlier today, I tabled a bill in the House of Commons to help protect Canadians against hate. One of the great promises of Canada is the ability of our citizens to live freely in their communities, regardless of the color of their skin, the God they pray to, or the person that they love. Sadly, too many Canadians are robbed of these freedoms that so many of us take for granted. Frankly, the prevalence of hate crimes in this country that steal those freedoms are something that should shock the conscience of every Canadian. It is disheartening when you read the news and see day after day stories about yet another victim suffering suffering a hate crime at the hands of someone who is not simply conducting a criminal activity, but who's motivated by their hatred towards an entire group of people. I think to myself about the many examples that we've seen over the years. Not too long ago in my community, we've seen charges laid for someone advocating genocide against their Jewish neighbours. We have seen recently synagogues in Halifax vandalized with hate symbols. We have seen violent attacks against people in Montreal because they are Jewish. We have seen the desecration of the National Holocaust Memorial. We have seen Muslim Canadians suffer discrimination for many years. We have seen, again, not far removed from my home, harassment of those seeking to attend a mosque which only recently opened in the community. We have seen shootings in Quebec cities and van attacks in London that have claimed the lives of innocent people. Sadly, there is no community that is immune from hate in this country. There are violent attacks against Black Canadians, rising anti-Asian hate. We see gurdwaras and mandirs vandalized, and the LGBTQ2+ community threatened with and suffering violence all too often. We are moving forward with a piece of legislation that will create 4 new criminal offences. The first 2 are aimed at protecting religious institutions with the new crimes of obstruction and intimidation. This will ensure those who gather to practice their faith at religious institutions, schools, community centres, and other buildings and structures that primarily serve identifiable communities will have the ability to do so freely and without fear that they will be targeted because of who they are. We also have realized through many conversations with those impacted by hate crimes in Canada that hate is not limited to the doorsteps of our religious institutions, but is prevalent throughout the entirety of our communities. We see it in our streets, we see it in our parks, we see it in our grocery stores. Frankly, we see it almost everywhere. In addition to the campaign commitments around the crimes of obstruction and intimidation, we are moving forward with establishing a new crime of hate. This will operate by layering on top of existing criminal offences with a new offence that will specifically target hate where that crime was committed because of their motivation of hatred towards the victim. You can imagine that it may be more morally culpable for a person who assaults another, not just because of a personal problem they may have, but because of their belonging to a community. If a person robs a store because the owner comes from a particular group, or if a person commits harassment against someone who is seeking to attend university classes merely because they belong to a particular community of faith or race. This behavior is not just morally culpable. The impact has reverberations through the entirety of a community, and I would argue tears at the seams of the social fabric of the nation.